In a significant boost to India's defense manufacturing and self-reliance, the first batch of lethal BrahMoS missiles has been flagged off from a new state-of-the-art facility in Lucknow on Saturday by Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh as well as CM of UP Yogi Adityanath. The Defence Minister warned Pakistan, saying every inch of India's neighbour lies within the range of BrahMoS missiles, even as he praised Operation Sindoor and called it merely a trailer. He said at the inauguration, BrahMoS proved to be practical for India's security during Operation Sindoor. Winning is not merely an incident, but it has become our habit. The Lucknow manufacturing facility, inaugurated in May 2025 at a 300 crore rupee cost on 200 acres of free state land, marks a milestone for indigenous production capable of churning out 80 to 150 missiles annually to meet armed forces demands and boost exports. Established within UP Defence Industrial Corridor 2018 initiative spanning nodes like Kanpur and Jhansi to attract investments and create 15,000 jobs. This unit advances Atmanirbhar Bharat by localizing 75% of components, fostering economic growth and reducing import reliance amidst rising geopolitical tensions. Its debut came during Operation Sindoor in May 2025, where Indian Air Force launched BrahMoS missiles crippled 11 Pakistani air bases in retaliation for the Pahalgam terror attack, paralyzing enemy defences and elevating the missile's global profile with new deals worth 4,000 crore rupees. Major General J.K. Bansal, defence expert, joins us live. Major General Sudhakarji, geopolitical expert, is live with us. Group Captain Tapesh Chaudhary, former Indian Air Force officer, is joining us live. Pathikrit Pine, foreign affairs expert, is also with us on the broadcast. Major General Bansal, let me begin with you first. How big of a boost is this new facility inaugurated today going to give our armed forces?
You know, earlier, whatever missile we had, it has got a range of about 300 to 400 kilometers. And now the new version is also going to come, which will give up to, say, 600 to 800 kilometers. Moreover, the speed will be very high when we are going to make. This is now 3 Mach, which is going to be a supersonic missile, maybe about 6 Mach. Now, if you see, this BrahMoS have proved to the world that it destroyed all the about 11 bases of Pakistan, and the interest of some countries has increased to buy missiles, whether you take Indonesia, Malaysia, UAE, Saudi Arabia. So it will also increase the export, maybe up to 400 crore rupees. And most important is that BrahMoS is very versatile. It can be launched from air, sea, and land. And a version which can be launched from the submarine is also going to be. Not only that, the most important thing is the self-reliance, and self-reliance is very, very important in today's world at the time of need. If we have got the manufacturing in our own country, it can be scaled up to the requirement. Otherwise, if you have to depend on other countries, then our need may not be fulfilled, which has been seen during the Ukraine war. The Ukraine, sometimes they get weapons, sometimes they don't get. This is the lesson learned, that now India is advancing towards the self-reliance, which is very, very important. And not only that, it will create so many jobs already created, and record time of about 5 months, the first batch has come out. As you have very rightly said, that now it is about 80 to 100 missiles per year, and which is going to be scaled up 250 missiles per year. So this is a very, very good initiative project. It will have the change in strategy, and as we know, the total width of the Pakistan is about 450 kilometers. So every inch of the Pakistan will come in the range of this missile. So this is going to be a game changer, and will boost India's capability for the deterrence as well as for the offense. So this is a very good project, which is going to be. India is constantly making all weapons, and every day or at least every week, new weapons is launched, which your channel X as well as the India News that has been shown all the time. Back to you there.
Yes, Major Sudhakarji, you know, we saw a trailer of what BrahMoS is capable of in Operation Sindoor earlier in the year. But this new batch flagged off today, how crucial are they, how significant are they, and how timely is this induction?
Yeah, Uday, good evening. Thank you for getting me for your show, and compliments to very distinguished panelists, particularly General Bansal deserves to have the last say on the subject. However, since you asked me a question, let me dilate the issue. First and foremost, Operation Sindoor, Phase 1, was surely a trailer because the real story is yet to come. So, when you talk about the real story, firstly, the entire extent which the general has defined very accurately is going to be covered under the arsenal of BrahMoS. But most important thing which many of us may not be knowing is that what has been inaugurated today is an center, integrated center for development and testing. When I say integrated, the hidden armament which is being developed is the hypersonic missile of BrahMoS variety. This is going to move at a speed which is going to be more than 8 Mach or so, and going to cover the entire length and breadth. Anything that is hiding in Pakistan, be it in the remote area, for example, the terrorist camps, I believe, are being shifted from Bahawalpur and Muridke close to the Duran line, have already been picked up, and they will become very easy target for the hypersonic missile. No radar detection system ever. Not that Pakistan had any kind of air defense or radar detection system worth its name during Operation Sindoor. Even if they have the best of radar detection system taken from A, B, C, they're higher than the Everest and deeper than the ocean friend in the northern border of ours, that also will not be able to detect the hypersonic missile. As far as the timing is concerned, this is called JIT, Japanese saying, just in time. And it couldn't have been better, couldn't have been appropriate. And action, actually, words don't matter. What matters is action, how you decimate the adversary. Today, the Pakistan Chief of the Army Staff, he dare say, he would dare threat India with his, I would say, beyond human control or like a mental state, articulations which he needs to introspect and analyze, dilate as to what he is speaking. As such, Pakistan has lost its credibility. In times ahead, our Chief of the Army Staff has outlined that the Phase 2 of Operation Sindoor will make sure that Pakistan is wiped out from the face of the planet. And that is what is going to be done by the BrahMoS, which are under development, which have been inaugurated today. And there are different varieties which are coming in. Today, I was really very happy and delighted to see Philippines Marine Corps also had been added to the BrahMoS network. And there are more, the Southeast Asian countries. Soon you would be seeing Vietnam, soon you would be seeing Indonesia, some countries from the Middle East, some from the Africa also joining this network of BrahMoS circuit, where the BrahMoS missile is going to be exported. And also will be extending the help for manufacturing in their country, like the concept Make in India is being promoted here in collaboration, joint venture with Russia. We also would be extending similar kind of provisions for the countries which will be depending on us for production of BrahMoS. Last but not the least, it is only one of the projectiles. There are many more which the media is not covering, and those many more also would be forming part of multiple platforms which will be utilized, and particularly the integrated air control system which will be under the Air Force. It did not allow any such projectile, be it a drone, be it a loiter ammunition, be it the suspected the intercontinental ballistic missile, be it any other projectile which was launched by Pakistan on the night of 8th, 9th and 9th, 10th of May 2025. Similarly, every system is going to be put in place. It will be driven by artificial intelligence, and it will help us not only to defend but also to push forward our intended aim of neutralizing, pulverizing the enemy in order to fulfill the objective which has been outlined by the Chief of the Army Staff. It's just a matter of time that Pakistan actually needs to count its eggs before the chickens are hatched. And for all you know, they may be fried in their own frying pan very soon. So therefore, it will be prudent on their part to sit quietly, introspect, and see how best they can take their society and the nation onto a progressive roadmap of development and economic reprieve. Back to you, Uday.
All right, let me in fact take that to you as well now, Group Captain Chaudhary, on also the Defence Minister's warning. He's warned Pakistan and any enemy of ours that the range of this BrahMoS missile is also significant. That's also what makes this unique, apart from its indigenous production, capability, and other uniqueness as well, that the range is so severe that all of Pakistan is on its radar. depending on where it's deployed, we can target the enemy as we have in Operation Sindoor in the future too.
Good evening, Uday, and good evening, co-panelists and all viewers. See, when BrahMoS production started, it's a joint venture between India and Russia. That time also this missiles hype was there in the world because it was supposed to be first supersonic cruise missile. Generally, cruise missiles fly close to the Earth surface, and those are subsonic. It means they have the speed of 1 Mach. The first of its kind, this BrahMoS was coming up. So it means the hype has been there from the production or for the designing itself when it came to the market. However, some of the panelists has clearly told that it was a trailer because no weapon is as good as till the time it is proven. You may prove weapons in your warlike scenarios or in simulated exercise, etc. But actual weapons are tested when on the battleground. And the whole world has seen the performance. More than that, we have achieved whatever with the help of BrahMoS. Pakistan has cried all over the world, we were hit by BrahMoS, we were hit by BrahMoS. So now we have nothing to say about the BrahMoS capability and capacity. As far as the ranges are concerned, the ranges are important. Though we have Agni series of missiles which has ranges which can hit the larger distance targets, but it is not only about the range. It also adds to the capability of the missile. Capability means how close it can fly close to the surface and what is the speed of the missile, how much warhead it can carry, what is the design of that missile, how much is the cross section, radar cross section, which it can be picked up by the other sensors. Also, how much time and the capability and the CEP, circular error probable, जिसे हम कहते हैं, how accurate it is. So the BrahMoS, wherever we have fired, either through the ground or through the air, it has pinpointed the target without even a very 2 meters of error. So this is a very potent weapon. Now, how much we have exported any major equipment to the world. Now, how the world shows trust into India, India's self-reliance or India's self-production. Till now, the major equipment which is being exported is Akash missile system to Armenia. So this BrahMoS, after the Operation Sindoor, has become a highlight to the world. Already all of people have told that African, South Asian nations, Middle East, so many countries are showing interest. Already 2 deals have been, I believe, have been signed for this thing. So we need to have a production of those missiles. What is going to, what this facility in UP is there is important because UP is progressing very well. The defense corridors, it offers, UP is almost a population of 22 crores. The jobs are there. The timelines that is why it has achieved by the UP government has been exceptional. Yes. Now missile supply to own forces, 100 missiles per year. So, and also it will add to the export. The other countries are lined up. It can be fired from land, sea, or air. So it's not only the other countries, Air Force will buy it or the Army will buy it. It means that any country, all 3 services are going to utilize this. So seeing all these things, it is going to be a game changer. And in 24,000 crore export in 2023-24 are, I think, going to increase day by day.
Okay.
Back to you.
Okay, Patikrit Pine, the orders have reportedly already started piling up, and that's something that obviously we want. We pride ourselves in our Make in India program. It is, of course, important for our, our armed forces, but it is there for others to purchase as well. We are hoping that our defense system is purchased by Brazil. As far as the BrahMoS missiles as well, there's a lot of global interest in them too, looking at how they have performed for India. Patikrit, explain that a bit for us and how you see it panning out now with more, being produced now in these new facilities too.
Well, Uday, when we talk about development of a defense industrial corridor, the news about BrahMoS is definitely a very, very positive news, and there is invariably a large amount of interest across the world and especially from developing countries. But the issue is not only about BrahMoS. The issue is about whether we are in a position to scale up our capabilities and develop all kind of industrial level at industrial scale, whether we can develop and build our own military, platforms. The tragedy for India is that in spite of being a country with a reasonable industrial capability, we have failed for decades to involve the private sector into it. And I must congratulate Prime Minister Modi that in the last 10 years, a considerable amount of effort has been made in terms of involving the private sector, in terms of expanding the scope of the defense industrial corridor in various parts of the country, so that today you have on one hand BrahMoS, which is a supersonic cruise missile. Secondly, you have the Akash systems, which are being manufactured by the private sector. You have the Pinaka rockets being manufactured in the private sector. You have, in case of the AMCA, Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, the private sector is getting involved. You would also have the engines where the private sector is getting involved. And what is happening is that when you talk about the UP industrial corridor, defense industrial corridor, it is not just about BrahMoS. It is about developing most of these components, subcomponents of different kind of military platforms across the spectrum of the state, and they are being integrated as part of a larger supply chain. So that tomorrow, if you see there is a bigger challenge of a threat coming up, of a war, we are not at the mercy of imports. Unfortunately, our over dependence on PSUs for a long period of time created a situation that when a Kargil happened, at the last moment, at an emergency, purchases had to be made from foreign countries at exorbitant prices, and because our PSUs were not in a position to supply it. So the fact that today government has allowed the private sector to make artillery shells, to bulletproof jackets. Look at the tragedy. I give you an example, Uday. Look at Uttar Pradesh. The capability of Uttar Pradesh is not something of today. There's a company called MKU which manufactures bulletproof jackets. At a time when India, probably more than 10 years back, I'm saying, when India was not purchasing the bulletproof jackets from Indian companies, MKU was supplying it to more than 90 odd law enforcement agencies across the world. So the world had trust on our weapon systems, but our government in the past did not have it. And it's only in the last 7-8 years we have seen the monopoly, the most pathetic monopoly of the Ordnance Factory Board has been done away with. The PSU monopoly is being done away with. The private sector is getting involved. There is invariably stringent quality control in it. And it's because of that you have countries like Brazil showing interest. We must understand military industrial complex is not just about making weapon systems. It is a very, very critical military diplomatic tool for negotiations at the larger foreign policy level. Number two, it creates a lot of technological capabilities as a spin-off, which can have effects in the civilian sector, also positive impact. And last but not the least, it creates a chain reaction in terms of more innovation and job creation. And all of this together would help. So whether it is the semiconductors or the defense industrial complex creating an ecosystem in this country, you would see other countries showing interest. We are already late, but it's good that Prime Minister Modi has taken initiative in the last one decade.
And Major Batsal, this shows that these aren't just slogans, Atmanirbhar Bharat and, Make in India. These aren't just hollow slogans, but actually this is, showcasing how slogans are, of course, being implemented to action on ground. 75% of the components are localized, reportedly. Obviously, this is something that's going to create jobs further locally as well, and also, of course, be a boost for our forces simultaneously.
The question to me?
Yes, Major General Bansal. That question is for you on the slogans and, of course, on the action following those slogans as well.
That since the time this private sector has come into existence or has been given to private sector, it has given a boost. Because PSU, they are not having much interest. The government organization, of course, after this private sector coming into existence, they will also find a kind of this competition and their existence will be threatened. So now, this is the very good step taken by Prime Minister, and had been in DRDO. The DRDO was developing technology which was not taken further, and after developing this technology, it was not of any use. Now, since the private sector is taking it and they are manufacturing further, so whatever technology is being developed by DRDO is really being utilized, and that gives a boost and motivation to DRDO also. And one thing more important I would like to tell here also, the certain challenge, specifically your channel, whether it's a Newsx or India News, taking up this subject very regularly to make awareness in the country for the citizen. At the same time, it is boosting morale of the manufacturer, whether you take DRDO, whether you take the private sector or you take the PSU. So they are getting a kind of boost and motivated because it's being talked about. So that also created a lot of positive energy and a boost. So I think now India has started not only in this sector, whether you take the manufacturing in the naval sector or in this naval, army and air force, everywhere the India is now doing, and that is in the coming time.
Yes,
the kind of problems are there and sanctions and all those kind of, the self-reliance is very, very important. India realized this very well, and now we are on a correct path.
okay.
Back to you.
I'll leave the last word to you, Major General Sudhakarji, on the way forward.
I thought our very distinguished co-panelists would cover this aspect. You see, what has not been covered in the panel discussion today, so far, we had a component of 65% being produced in India. Earlier, it used to be produced from Russia. Now, from 65% production indigenously, it has gone up to 85%. That's a huge landmark that needs to be talked about. And second thing, the Russia-Ukraine war has highlighted one aspect, and that aspect is that the short and swift war concept is gone. That 15 days or 20 days of warfare, which Putin thought initially, has gone beyond 3.5 years now. So therefore, India has to prepare for a long gestation period of the conflict. Therefore, our defense minister has gone public to say that India today is not only prepared for a 5 days war, it is also prepared self-indigenously can develop any kind of armament or ammunition or missile for a war which is likely to last for 5 years or more. That is the self-confidence which country is talking today, which General Bansal has been trying to highlight, and our distinguished co-panelist also. A third issue is very, very important. The component manufacturing ecosystem of anything that is manufactured in India used to come from the joint venture, that is the host country. Now those ecosystems gradually have also come about into existence. We have started producing. There is a primary, there is a secondary, and there is a tertiary kind of ecosystem of employment which has been generated in Lucknow and around. And last but not the least, although it is not connected to the issue, is the AI mission. Artificial intelligence mission is not very far off from Lucknow Defense Corridor. Kanpur is not very far off. The IIT Kanpur
Yes.
is the central, which is to be actually, talked about by one and all. Artificial intelligence also is going to play a very important role.
Absolutely. Point taken. I'm afraid we've run totally out of time. We'll have to leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion. Let's slip in to a very short break.